like I was saying, Christopher Columbus never actually stepped foot in Puerto Rico. He just did it on Aguada, which is to get water, and that town is named Aguada. It's in the west side of Puerto Rico, the west corner of Puerto Rico, right? After that, they were passing through. They saw land in Dominican Republic, and which in that time they named La Española, which is the Spanish, I guess, the Spanish woman. So they crashed there because of the waves were so bad and the rocks. They crashed there, and they made a fort, and they left around 89 men there to go back to Spain, right? And they had met the Indians, and they had seen their civilization, right? And they had known the Indians lived there.
And there's some people there.
They came to Aguada, and they only saw the houses empty, because the Indians had a lot of communication, and they already had saw them in Dominican Republic, right? So the Indians were not dumb, right? So when Christopher Columbus is coming back, he actually wrote that these were savages, right? They were Caribes, right? Indian Caribes, and
it's like a cannibal, right?
Yeah. So Caribe, they named the ones that they were cannibals, right? So, but it was a lie, right? It was because there was so much gold here, but the presumption that people already lived there might not persuade Spain to go conquer it, right?
Yeah.
But if they're savages, it doesn't mind if we kill them all, right? It doesn't mind if we take their land and the woman, and right?
Yeah.
So Christopher Columbus went with the story that they were savages, and he came back. But when he came back, the Dominican Indians that were Taínos still, they had killed the 89 men. And I think in that second trip is the one that he stepped foot in Puerto Rico to do the Aguada, and never saw nobody, because they already had told the story that they killed 89 men there. And there's a famous story here in Puerto Rico about Diego Salcedo. They taught us in school that the Indians thought that the Spaniards were gods, but this is what the white man wrote, right?
Yeah.
So
that's the El Dorado type
Diego
story.
Salcedo was the Spaniard that presumably the Indians used to prove that they were not gods. They drowned him. They made him believe that they were making a ritual, that they were
doing some Indian ritual thing.
and they killed him.
Yeah.
So, but I think that was just the lie that they told him. And then the Spaniards rolled with that, because they saw how intelligent they were. And in fact, there is a the first Taino king, right?
Yeah.
The first Taino king that came here, that was here, or with the biggest Cacicazgo, which is the biggest kingdom in these islands, because the perception of countries wasn't and territories was not there. The islands were together. They were one people, right? Sorry. Okay. So they were one people, right?
Yeah. But they're all like the same.
Yeah. But sorry, I lost my track a little bit.
It's about the Taino king.
Yeah. So he was Agüeybana. It was his name. And he was Agüeybana the first, right?
Yeah.
And his mother had told him, these are not gods, but they are strong men, right? So be docile with them. Take that route of being smarter.
Yeah.
His brother didn't agree with that. His younger brother.
Yeah.
So but the older brother was the king, right? So he made the decision
to be
more docile, to take the more docile approach. However, that worked against them, right? They started killing the Indians off, right? And when they started killing the Indians off, they had to bring more labor, right? So that's when they brought the Africans in, the African slaves. They
So
brought
ship them in.
from Africa, right? So
Yeah.
that's when that mixture started to happen, right?
Mhm.
But to finish off with the Indians, that kingdom story, his brother takes his name because he takes a kingdom after his older brother dies. So his name is Agüeybana Segundo, the second.
Oh.
And he was named something else, but he took on the name when
Of the
he
brother.
became the king, right? Agüeybana. And we don't really know the name of the Taino people, actually. Taino
Is that like a...
Taino is what the Taino told the Spaniards when they got here.
Yeah.
But Taino means good person. So what they were saying is we're
Just
good.
good people.
We're good people. We're good
Oh, so you don't even know the actual...
the Arawak was the name.
Yeah.
The name of the tongue, right?
Yeah.
So maybe Arawak is somewhere near what
they
their
really...
name was.
Wow.
But they had a structure of civilization.
Yeah.
They had the cacique, which was the top man, and he had a medallion, and he had a seat. They had the bohique, which the bohique was the priest king as well.
Yeah.
And they had Nitainos, which was the government class, and they had the normal people, the common.
See, alright.
So they had an organization, right?
Yeah.
So Agüeybana the second, the Spaniards named El Bravo, which Bravo means not brave necessarily, but it means like bold, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a bold person, right?
Yeah.
So or a courageous person, El Bravo, or when somebody you don't want to mess with him because he's not fast,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that type of person, that's the name that they gave him, El Bravo, and he organized around 1,000 Indians that killed around 200 Spaniards, which was about half of the Spaniard population.
That was there.
By then. But yeah.
So he turned on him.
Yeah, he turned. The younger brother turned on him. Yeah. And that was an insurrection that they did. So nothing. Just to go to the festival, right? It has to go full circle, right? So in that, when Africans came, African descendants, and the mixture of them, which were named with the Spaniards, were named mulatto, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like the light skin.
Yeah.
Mixture of the black and the white, and the Indians as well. And they all these mixtures have their own name: Spaniard with Indian with African with Spanish, and so forth. Like all the combinations.
Creating like categories of like stuff like that.
But that mixture kept going. So what Africa brought in the Indians brought a lot of words.
Yeah.
Barbecue, actually the word barbecue comes from barbacoa, which is cooking the food, which was what Indians taught the Europeans, not the other way around. They taught them how to smoke the food, and that is barbacoa, which, my whole life I thought it was an American word, barbecue, and that translated to Spanish. But it was from Spanish and was from the Indians, So
the Indians taught the Spanish.
Huh?
The Indians taught the Spanish about
barbacoa
barbecue.
To cook. They taught them everything. And the same thing happened in America.
The Thanksgiving. We learned Thanksgiving.
The Native Americans had their own culture and their structure and their beliefs, and they worked with hide, and they had they had a civilization.
Yeah, I learned like a little bit about different Indian like cultures, like different native cultures, and
so when the Africans came, the Indians brought they cultivated yuca, which is a root vegetable here.
Yeah.
And that is they gave a lot of words. Most of the skin color is of Puerto Ricans is trigueño, which means like oat color, like the oat fields, like
like a light
brownish tannish color, right?
Like
maybe
beige.
So that type of color is what describes the Indians, right? And then
Yeah.
or that light skin type of color, right?
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
when Africans came, they brought their religion and they made friends with the Indians because their cultures were so alike.
Yeah.
They both have multiple gods instead of one god, like the Spanish, right? The Spanish believe in Christ, while they believed in different gods, right?
Yeah.
And the instruments were similar. They had drums and stuff like that, right? So there were similar cultures, and they were in their same situation. So they made friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about this.
Because they have a common.
They had a common thing together. So
Makes sense.
and the African music came here. They took the barrels and they made a bomba drum.
Yeah.
They made a bomba drum, right?
Yeah.
So the bomba drum is like a barrel with hide on top, right? So it's a really thick drum and a really big drum, if you see, right?
Yeah.
And that was one of the first rhythms that came here from Africa, and it was really religion based. So it was chants and whatnot, but the melody was so good and the dance was made popular, right?
Yeah.
And so bomba is particular because if you don't mind me stopping here a little bit to finish this off.
Yeah. No problem.
So bomba, right? It was really religion based, but it's particular, right? Because the dancer doesn't dance to the rhythm. The dancer makes the rhythm. So if you see the woman is in front of a drummer, right? She's directly in front of a drummer looking at him, right? So she at first has to greet the drummer. Let me see if it's the brightest it can be. So at first she has to greet the drummer, and they greet themselves. The drummer greets the woman or the man, and they greet themselves. And then the drummer starts to follow the rhythm of the woman. The other drummers have a bass beat and a bass chorus, but the main drummer follows the girl or the man. And if she moves her shoulders, they make a particular sound. If she moves her hip, make a particular sound. If she moves with the skirt, make a particular sound, and so forth. But from bomba and from those roots was born plena, which was something that is in Bad Bunny's new album, right? Which is something like this, and so you can hear the drums real quick. But plena was was for Christmas caroling. They took the bomba with them, and the dance stayed in the bomba, but this was more of for caroling, right? And you might think, oh, that is a very thick, big drum, but it's just the top of the drum, which is, I have it here. Let me find it. It's a plenera. So
it's like a
So if you see, it's like the top of the other drum, right?
Yeah.
Of the other drum that I showed you. See?
I seen because in the Bronx, like they have a lot of Puerto Ricans who play those types of drums.
So.
And they have the what you call it they have that thing they'll shake their thing.
The güiro, el güiro.
Yeah, I think
And the maracas as well.
Yeah, the maracas. Yeah.
But this instrument in particular is really typical of Puerto Rico, and they make this type of sound and this type of song where it's like they sing the chorus and the chorus answers, and the main guy sings something and the chorus answers, and that type of song. And one of the most famous songs is in plena is La Bomba, which is based on the bomba dance, right? And it goes a little bit like this. I'm not a singer, okay, but it goes la bomba, ay que rica, es la bomba, how delicious it is.
Yeah.
Me sube el ritmo por los pies, the rhythm comes through my feet. Mulato means the mixture of the black and the white, right?
Yeah.
Saca tu trigueña, take out your black woman or your light-skinned woman, right?
Yeah.
Pa que, everyone screams. Pa que, which means for what? Pa que baile bomba, so you can dance bomba, Puerto Rican bomba. And that in that moment, the drums stop and everyone stops singing. They sing the chorus once, right? And everyone stops, and they'll point someone out. Let's guess they point you out, and you have to do a rhyme. And if you take too long, if the rhyme is not good, if the rhyme is not funny or not good, right? Then they'll sing something like no sabe nada, no sabe nada, no sabe nada de bomba, no sabe nada, which means that you don't know anything about bomba.
Damn.
And you're in the spot, right? But
You're
it's
like,
all
damn.
for fun. It's all for fun. And they sing the chorus again, and they point somebody out.
You gotta be
And
ready.
It's that type of ambiance that you get in the festival, right?
Yeah.
So Puerto Ricans have the longest Christmas because we celebrate the normal Christmas, the New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
right? We
And
celebrate Three Kings Day, which is the original Christmas when Christ was brought gifts by the three kings. We celebrate
Oh.
that. We get like 2 Christmases, so the kids get gift in that second Christmas as well, which is technically the first one because it's at the start of the year, it's January.
Yeah.
But after January 6th, there is like 8 days more of partying, which is like Octavitas, which started the tradition in the San Sebastian Street. And now they're called Fiestas de la Calle San Sebastián, which means parties of San Sebastian Street. And that festival is in Old San Juan. And they have a special route for everything and all that because
That's dope.
like it's so many people. Like we're expecting 100,000 tourists alone.
Damn.
But I swear to you that before it was 100,000 Puerto Ricans alone.
Yeah.
Like before Puerto Rico was such a tourist hub, you know.
Yeah.
And we have 13 cruises here for the festival, so it's a lot of people. But it's something like it's like Oktoberfest for the Germans.
Yeah.
The festival in Brazil. It's this place right here.
Alright.
And you can just walk here. This is really crowded street, so I'd rather leave you here.